offense is going to look like, what our team's going to look like, and I think a lot of the guys are excited to see what the change is going to be, how it's going to be out there, how are we going to look and how are things going to feel. And it's an exciting time all around. I think a lot of guys are really thrilled for it.
You mentioned the new offense, kind of everybody talking about, what's it like for you to kind of learn that? I mean, obviously, haven't really probably dove into a lot of it, but just the little part that you have, what are your expectations?
It's good. It's going to be different, I think, compared to the previous years in the brands of Wisconsin football that you've historically seen. It's going to be a little more spread out, a little more hopefully explosive, and I think we're all excited to see what that looks like on field. It's a lot different than what we ran in the past, obviously, but change isn't always bad, and I think it's an exciting thing, and I think a lot of guys are excited to see what we can do, and the spring will be an insight to that for the fall.
How challenging is it to learn a new offense?
I mean, with that, there's always challenges. The nice thing is once you kind of learn one, things carry over. So there's always carryover from one to the next, and I think the more you do it, the easier it gets. The first time's definitely the hardest. So on the younger guys, it's definitely something that's real challenging. Expanding from a high school playbook to a college playbook, but so far it's been good. I think the transition's been well. I mean, there's obviously a lot of slight adjustments, week to week game plan things you're going to have to learn. But as for the base concept, so far I think it's gone really well, and I'm excited to see what we can do.
Just talking about Coach Brady and kind of the juice he brings, can you just describe what it's been like in the weight room with him?
It's great. I mean, Coach Brady every day shows up. He's a high energy guy. Wants to make sure that you have that same energy, you match that level of intensity regardless of the time. So 6 a.m. he's in there, all smiles, juiced up, ready to roll. And I think that helps a lot of guys, getting up at 6 or getting up at 5, being there at 6, ready to go isn't always easy. So I'm really grateful Coach Brady's our guy. He helps us keep that energy going every day, keeps it day in, day out, and I think it allows for a lot of guys to do really well in there.
Thank you.
Tanor, you've got a new offensive line coach, obviously, and Jack Bicknell Jr. Just what are your thoughts on him, and what has he brought to the room?
Good. He's a guy that's been around. He's seen a lot, experience. He's on that Giants Super Bowl team, so he knows what it takes at the highest level. And for him to kind of bring us that experience and show us, here's what I know, here's what I've learned through all my years of football, and here's how I can help relay that to you guys and make you better players. I think we all really appreciate that, having a lot of O-line coaches already so far. The good news is you get to learn a lot, and you get to kind of pick and choose, here's what I was good at, here's what I liked, here's what I didn't like, and Coach McNell's very open to that, open to suggestions. If you think there's a better way to do something, you can bring it up to him. And I think that's something we all really appreciate. He's a my door's always open kind of guy, and he's just been a really approachable, really good so far. So I'm excited to be working with him for the next season, and I think we can do a lot of good things.
And we got to talk with him a couple weeks ago, and he mentioned versatility along the offensive line and kind of there not being a real difference between left and right, in his eyes. Obviously, you guys trotted out, I think it was 8 different offensive line combinations last year. So while versatility is important, has there been a focus on getting more of a consistency and locking guys down in a particular spots?
Yes and no. I mean, I think you always want to have some consistency in there and, not always be moving around. But I think right now it's about the spring. We have plenty of time until the season starts, so getting guys to work in different spots, get used to playing different positions, learn the whole offense from every aspect of it so that if you're ever thrown in a guard, tackle, center, and we need that guy, you feel comfortable doing that. So I think the spring's going to be good, making sure guys fit their roles, know their roles, and learn their roles. And then probably the fall, wire in on the groups who are going to be playing more, where you're going to be playing, kind of get more set in stone as to where we're going to be.
I'm sorry if you were asked this already, but you've had a little time to understand what you'll be doing when you finally get to spring. Can you kind of share what the differences or the responsibilities of the offensive line in this new system? What would be the biggest changes that you guys have?
I think just the way it's going to look. Traditionally Wisconsin's been a really big power run school. We're going to load the box up. We're going to have 9 guys in the box, and we're going to face some tough looks, but we're going to be able to run the ball regardless of that. And something we're still going to pride ourselves on is being able to run the ball, but it's going to be doing that in a lot of different ways. I think we're going to be a lot more spread out personnel-wise. I'd expect a lot lighter personnel groups than you probably have seen in the prior years. And I think that's exciting for us. It looks a lot different but it presents a lot more opportunity to expand the field, you know, widen out the defense and exploit them in places we weren't able to do prior to. So I'm excited to see what we can do, and I think it'll be good for us.
What's the process been for you these last couple months to try to understand, learn this offense before you actually get to your first spring practice? How did you go about doing that?
I'm just watching film with the coaches. We had some meetings prior to, you know, just kind of get the basics of it down. You know, here are the plays, here are your play sheets. You know, here's kind of the basic schemes we're going to be running, and then taking the opportunity to watch them film from UNC. You know, see what they did last year, over the past couple of years. You know, their best of plays. You know, the plays they ran, the best times they did. You know, how it should look and how we want it to look, and you know, seeing that, picking apart things. You know, here's what I can do on certain plays to make it better. You know, here's what not to do. So just kind of watching film, going over with the coaches, but I think we're headed in the right direction, and I'm excited to see what we can do.
What are some of your early impressions of some of the Cincinnati offensive linemen that transferred in here, Renfro and Huber?
Good. They both work really hard, and I think that's something you're always excited to have around you. You want guys that are going to push you every day to be better, and those two definitely bring that. You know, Joe and Jake, they bring that intensity. You know, they've done this system. They've been with Coach Fick, you know, their whole college career, so they kind of know what it's like. And you know, they wouldn't have followed him here if it wasn't for a good reason. So we're excited to have them here. You know, they're both really good players, really good athletes that, you know, bring that intensity and that drive we need in the offensive line. And I'm excited to see what they can do this season.
How big of a difference do you think it'll be for the offensive line to adjust to, you know, huddle, up-tempo, stuff you guys have probably never done before game?
It's definitely going to take some time. You know, we're used to utilizing every single one of those 40 seconds you get between plays. So for us, getting lined up at 20, it's going to be like, you know, the end of the game, 2-minute drill, the whole game. So getting used to that, you know, getting that kind of conditioning, getting used to mentally being able to push yourself, you know, 10, 15 plays. It's going to be different. You know, I think it'll take a little while to adjust to, but, you know, over time, I think we'll adapt and be just fine. And it's exciting, you know, to kind of have that on our side and compared to the past.